That would be fantabulous, right? Yeah, it's a huge part of that because in business, you don't have to be the best realtor. You got to be the best marketer.
Yes.
And that's the key in this whole thing. And a lot of people want to blame the market. It's not the market, it's the marketing that makes the difference. And so a lot of agents do what's called the 3 Ps: to put a sign yard, put it in the MLS, and sit back and pray. But you got to do the.
That is Darren James. He's a former Louisiana state trooper. He started selling real estate part-time on the side, and he did so well, he started selling more real estate than most full-time real estate agents. And to date, he's one of the top brokers in the United States, has sold over $1 billion worth of real estate. And on this journey, he's going to share with you how he built his name and got started. What did he do that was so unique? And it includes Louisiana crawfish. All right, buckle up because this is going to be a fun ride. You're listening to the CloseTheDeal.com podcast. I'm your host, Ewell Smith, and this is a mastermind in marketing. No matter what business you're in, Darren's got some great insights. Now let's dive in. Darren, I want to welcome you to the CloseTheDeal.com podcast. I know you're in Baton Rouge, and we've been lunch a couple times together. What is your favorite place to close the deal? If you got a big deal coming down, where would you take them to eat, or lunch, or dinner? Where would you, or even breakfast? Where would you take them?
Let's cover that because I am definitely a foodie. I love to eat. I love to. In fact, I bring my dad to lunch every single day. It's such a blessing. I just had lunch with him earlier today, matter of fact, and it's just such a blessing to be able to share that time with my father. To answer your question directly, where would I bring a client? I am a diehard Mexican food eater. It was a joke I posted on my Facebook 3 days ago. 3 more trips to the Mexican restaurants, I'll be fluent in Spanish. And it's hilarious.
Is there a particular one you love going to?
I think in the Baton Rouge area, I have Baton Rouge, Denham Springs, the greater Baton Rouge area. I have basically 3 favorites as far as Mexican restaurants go. I love Mi Padres on Bluebonnet, which is fantastic. In fact, the owner there is one of my clients. He's an unbelievable guy. And so I love Mi Padres. I also love Tio Jave's, which is in Baton Rouge as well. Superior Grill is another good one too. And then I really love, there's a place out in Denham Springs that has the best hot tamales out there called Victorious. And I love to go there. It's right down the road from my office. So I go there. I eat about 2 baskets of chips while I'm sitting there and 2 hot tamales, and I am set for the rest of the day. It works out great.
So there you have it, folks. You just got the top 4 list in Baton Rouge to go.
To answer your question, right, directly, if I'm bringing a client to eat somewhere, like I said, I love Mexican food. I'm probably going to go to Mi Padres. I'm very simple as far as that. J. Alexander, it's another great place. Yeah. And of course, it's a higher end client and they want to, wine and dine. I'm probably going to go to 18 Steak in LaBerge Casino, or I'm either going to go to Ruth Chris, one of the 2. So,
Holy cow. All right. We got the whole dining scene covered. All right.
Next question. I love it. I love to eat different places. I love to try new places. That's my thing.
I love it. All right. The next question is my favorite question. Who or what are you grateful for that helped you get you where you are today?
Number one, I'm grateful for the man upstairs to allow me to be able to change the lives of so many people as I walk this earth. One of the biggest fears that I have in my world is that I do a lot of business. I help people, but I'm scared that I'm going to walk out of this world not being able to be on a platform large enough to help as many people and to share as many people. And the thing is that it doesn't matter if you're a brand new person getting into any business whatsoever, and I can help you get to that next step in your life. Let's just talk about agents, for example. If you've done 1 transaction in this business, and I can help you get to 2, and then I can help you get to 4, 8, 16, et cetera. How do I help you grow that end of your business and help you be the best part about it? Because I lead my world from a mindset of abundance. There's enough business out there to help and to where everyone can have a life they never thought was possible. And I believe that I'm scared that I'm going to walk out of this world not being able to change as many lives as I really want to. I'm not on a big platform like Grant Cardone. I'm not on a big platform like Brad Lee and some of those big influencers in social media. I want to be, but I want to be for the reason to change the lives of many people. And that's the reason why I want to do that, because I feel that the Lord has blessed me with a gift, and I love being able to share that gift with other people. Just like I had a call this morning around 10 o'clock, a guy who works with a local brokerage, a big brokerage here locally. He said, man, I'm brand new in the business. What am I doing? How do I get started? And I sent him a video on how to get started. 40 real estate tips for lead generation, the top real estate tips for 2023 on how to lead generate. And he was so thankful and appreciative of that, because the thing about real estate school, and back to your question, doing kind of like a circle. But the thing about real estate school is you go to real estate school, you spend all this money to go to real estate school. You get your certification there. Then you go and you got to join the board of realtors, and you got $1,500 to $2,000 invested into your career when you first get started in this business. And then they teach you everything that they teach you to keep yourself out of trouble and to be compliant. They don't necessarily teach you how to grow your business and how to network with people and how to grow and run a business and be successful in this business. And the business that you're in every day is the lead generation business. This is a contact sport. You have to contact and make as many contacts as possible, because we've all heard in life, it's all in who you know that makes you successful. But that's not necessarily true. That's a part of it, but it's who you know that knows what you do that makes you successful. Because if people don't know to call me to buy or sell a house or relocating across the state, who can I pair them with? I got a friend of mine in Thayer, Missouri. Now, I've never even heard of Thayer, Missouri, right? One of my clients here in Baton Rouge he has a piece of property up in Thayer, and called me up. He says, Darren, he said, I'm looking to put my property on the market. I was planning on building a house up there, relocating with my mom. We were going to build a house, and we decided to stay locally in Baton Rouge. Do you know anybody in Thayer, Missouri that can help me? I've never even heard of Thayer, Missouri before. So I went and Googled it. Lo and behold, I found him an agent over there, a top agent in the area, and I was able to place that to help him get to his next step in his life and stay here with his mom in Baton Rouge. And that's what it's about to me. To answer your question, what am I thankful for? I'm thankful about the gift that the man upstairs has given me to be able to share with so many people every single day, to wake up, whether it's a buyer, a seller, an investor, or another agent who's trying to get to their next step in their world, wherever that may be, because everybody has their own different story. Everybody has their own passion of where they're trying to get to. And if I can just be just a little bit instrumental in helping someone get there, regardless of what it is, in whatever industry it is, I'm here to do that. And that's what I'm most thankful for.
Clearly, you've done that, and you continue to do that, and you will continue to do that because your passion comes from a place of service.
That's right.
And that's evident because I've seen you and known you for a while, and we'll probably get into that a little bit more. But you just bridged the gap there, mentioning your story some. Tell us how you even got to where you are, because you are probably one of the top agents in Louisiana, and probably in at least the whole southern United States. You have you're watching you. There's one word I think of, it's consistent. You're consistently doing what needs to be done, and that's evident, and the fruits of that have played out for you. Let's hear a little bit about your story.
Yeah, sure. So our team, just to know where we rank, we were number one team with the LPT Realty in the state of Louisiana, number 54 in the country, or the United States. And we do a lot of business. Back to where I came from, I started in law enforcement. I had a career and worked for Department of Public Safety, Louisiana State Police for 10 years, and did that. And my daughter was born, and my wife wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I ended up taking a position in investigations. I lost my overtime, $500 a month in my overtime, and I had to find a way to make ends meet, because I'm a firm believer, if it's to be, it's up to me type deal. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I had to do it. So I ended up working two additional jobs. So I was working 8 to 4:30 with state police. I drive my police car home, get my personal car, drive back to Office Max by Cortana Mall in Baton Rouge. Mm-hmm. I would stock shelves at Office Max from 5:30, 6 o'clock at night to 11 o'clock at night, helping customers in there as well. And that's when I got introduced to some CDs. They had like an audio cassette rack of CDs. And on that cassette rack, they had like Harvey Mackay and Zig Ziglar and some of the other ones that I just started out saying, I wonder what this is about. I started listening to them while I was doing my reports at state police, and the other troopers in the area, like, what the hell are you listening to in there? And I'm like, man, it's just stories about motivation and stories about things and it's stories about life. And they would all make fun of me. And I'm like, I'm going to be somebody one day. And, just, that's how I did that. And so I ended up, Office Max wasn't enough. And then I took a job at Academy Sports on Airline Highway Saturdays and Sundays. And I was at one of the lowest points in my world one day, 7 months later. I remember like it was yesterday. I walked into my half bathroom at my house and I hit my knees and I said, Lord, life is not supposed to be this hard. It's not supposed to be this hard. I'm not scared to work. I just need some direction. I need something beside just a job. I need a career that I can build. And after giving it to the man upstairs, I went into my primary bathroom, and on the back of my toilet was a magazine, a success magazine. And it said, real estate, get your fair share in Arizona. And I'm like, well, I'm not moving to Arizona, but maybe I should try real estate. And my thoughts at that point was that if I do well in real estate and I got these other 3 jobs and I'm working, I can cut back out of 2 of those and just do police work full time and real estate as extra supplemental income. And then I got the best of both worlds, right? I called a local mom and pop shop, and they said, look, we don't hire local realtors and we don't have part-time realtors.
Let me jump in real quick. Look, you might be stuck in a position, a job you do not enjoy. It's not worth staying stuck in something you do not enjoy, no matter what it is. Life is too short. And if you're considering going into your own business, you've got options. You can do it part-time, work your way out of that job, or you can go all in. Check out yourfirstfranchise.com, yourfirstfranchise.com. Now let's get back to the show.
So I said, okay, what should I do? So I started thumbing through a phone book, and I really got my big start when I came to the C's, and Coldwell Banker is where I got my start.
Mm-hmm.
And started there. I wanted to sell 2 houses my first year to supplement my income. I sold 10, and I fell in love with the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, man, I wonder if I'm good at this or what to do, or if I just got lucky. So the next year I sold in my 20s. And then at that point in my world, I started looking. I said, man, I wonder what if I focus on this, because I listened to Zig Ziglar, I listened to Dale Carnegie, I read the book, The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. I've read all this stuff, and I knew that what you focus on expands, right? And so I said, what if I focus on this real estate thing? Where will it go? So I started to develop systems in my business. And you mentioned something earlier about consistency. It is, you have to be persistent and you have to be consistent in your business. And you have to have systems that duplicate each other to every single person that you serve. So that's the first thing I did. I said, I got to figure out these systems. So the first system that I ever built in my business was something called a raving fan club. Mm-hmm. And what it was, nobody knew who I was. And they had no idea who this Darren James guy was, right? And a lot of people still don't know who I am. And that's okay. But the fact is this, I built this system and I thought it was so cool at the time. So I went and I spent $33 a month, and I rented a storage building. And in this storage building, I had tables, I had chairs, and they all had my logo on. So in Louisiana, we do something called crawfish balls, right? And so if Ewell was having a crawfish ball at his house and he's one of my clients, my dad would deliver the tables and chairs over to Ewell's house with my logo on it, and it got recognition there. And then I had pressure washers in there. I had extension ladders in there. I teamed up with my title company at the time that they would notarize things for my clients at no charge. Back then was a fax machine. So they could come to my office and fax things instead of going to the supermarket to do it. They could do it at no charge there. And I just started doing that. I had a spacewalk, those little bouncy houses. Mm-hmm. I have a wrapped vehicle, and it looked just like a spacewalk. So if a person had a birthday party, my dad would go over there and set the spacewalk up with them at no charge. And they would use that. And then so people started knowing that. I just started giving back to the community. And I did it part-time, working with state police from 2001 to 2006. Mm-hmm. And when I left in 2006, I was selling 52 houses a year part-time, crushing the numbers, just doing great. The average agent still to this day, according to the NAR statistics, sells 8 to 12 homes a year. So I was doing well over what the national average was doing. And I said, man, this is great. So I got the opportunity to manage 2 Coldwell Banker offices, one in Central and Zachary, grew those to great numbers. And then I ended up, the market crashed, and Keller Williams, I'm sure you heard those guys, they were trying to recruit me since 2000. And I ended up making the move there in 2008. And so in 2008, I went there, and I was their top producer, 2008, 2009, 2010. Mm-hmm. And I wrote a book, a little ebook there called Raising the Bar of the Next Generation Realtors. And I basically traveled around the United States. Fairhope, Alabama, Keller Williams office over there is the first place I ever taught. Went down there and taught about iPhones, iPad devices, how to improve customer service, how to improve efficiencies using apps and everything else. And so now I have a course called Appapalooza. It's basically like Lollapalooza, right, in the music business, but it's Appapalooza. It's all the apps that you need for your real estate business to improve your efficiency, customer service, and just make you more productive. And so I got that, and so I started teaching that all over. And then I found about this thing called IDX, which is Independent Data Exchange, where the brokers share data. back in 2011, you had to be the sponsoring broker to do that. So I came home and wanted to get that system from my website. And so to get that system, you had to be the owner of the company. So I opened up Darren James Real Estate Experts at the time in April 2011. When we were on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing companies in America, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, and 16, all those years, we're doing about 92 million was our highest year that we ever did as far as that goes, with about 12 agents in production, really crushing the numbers. Actually, no, it was about 18 agents in production, and just really doing great, crushing the numbers, growing things. And I found this company called EXP Realty in 2016. And EXP was the first cloud-based brokerage offering a revenue share, offering stock options to their agents. I joined there in 2016, grew that to great numbers. And then just recently, December the 9th of this year, we found a company. We opened the state of Louisiana for a company called LPT Realty, which stands for Listing Power Tools. And the founder of LPT is Robert Palmer out of Tampa, Florida. The reason why we joined those guys is because they went from, in 2022, February 1st, 2022 is when they opened. Robert owned a printing company before. And basically he sold these print boxes, which had sign writers in there. It had flyers and all that specific to a particular property, which helped an agent market that. He said, look, why don't I just design this and give this free to the agents who come on board, and let's start a brokerage. So he went from one agent February 1st, 2022 to right now we just surpassed 7,500 agents. That's basically a year and a half. It's crazy the growth. It took several other large, big brokerages that you're well aware of, 7 to 10 years to get to 5,000 agents. And we did it in a year, just about. And that's crazy growth. They offer two commission plans for the agents, which is fantastic. They offer stock, revenue share, and the box, which is an amazing value proposition to really help sellers get their home sold faster, because it stands for listing power tools. They're giving you the power and the tools to really get maximum exposure and top dollar for those sellers. And it's changing the industry.
You catch your breath. Holy cow. Okay. All right. There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, your marketing, consistency, persistency, and your marketing too. Because that's what I've followed your journey for years now. Yep. I met you you sold my cousin his house years ago. And I love the fact that it started with crawfish boils in lawn chairs and tables.
Oh, it started, man.
That's as grassroots as it gets. And we need to talk about your truck, because this is a staggering number. Two numbers.
Yes.
The number of sales over this course of this journey, and what percent of those sales, so people understand the value of a wrapped vehicle, how important that is to the business.
Yeah, it's about 11% of my business. It generates a lot of business. It's a moving billboard. So I was the first in the area to have it. I wrapped my vehicle. I'll tell you a story about that. So I wrapped my vehicle in 2002. And so I got my PhD back some time ago. I was poor, hungry, and determined. And that was what that was. And when I got my PhD and I realized that, I said, they got to do something to stand out. And so what I did was basically I went and wrapped this minivan. My dad had a minivan, a Mazda MPV minivan that had 186,000 miles on it. I think is what it was, some kind of astronomical number. Whenever I got it, he did an active donation, gave it to me for $1. Maybe it was $100. I don't know. But anyway, he basically gave me the van. So I went in there and I put my face on the side of it and wrapped it in, and it was my first minivan ever. And I was happy to drive that van. People were like, man, who's this guy in this van, right? This guy must really love himself. He must really be conceited and all this kind of stuff. And it all got back to me. And I'm like, no, I'm not that. I just want people to know who to call whenever they need my services. And so I was the first in the area to do it. And now everybody got it done. Seems he's got several other people, and that's a good thing. But I have that. I have a moving trailer as well that people can use. In fact, during the flood of 2016, we moved 17 families, and it was able to rescue their stuff out of the flood as a result of our moving trailer. We let the community use it at no charge. It's being wrapped with the new stuff on it right now. Matter of fact, it's still up there getting done. But my new vehicle is out there. I got a picture of it. Matter of fact, I'll show it to you. Show it to the audience if they can see it. I'll show you the wrap vehicle so you'll know what you're referring to. I got it right here on the phone somewhere.
11% of your sales. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
have a special number so you can track that, special website so you can track that.
I do. And so I don't know if you can see this or not, but that's what the vehicle kind of looks like. You can see
Yeah, you can't miss that going down the road.
it. Right, that's right. And you can't speak through school zones either. No, don't do that. Yeah, I was going fast one time, and I cut her off in track on an accident or something one time, and she calls me up, and she's like, "Hey, I just saw your vehicle and going down the road, and somebody cut me off in track." I'm like, "No, it's my dad driving. He's 80 years old or whatever the case may be." Yeah, it's funny the way you got to definitely be cognizant when it comes to that kind of stuff. So definitely be aware.
And that's okay. So 11% is in collectively the amount of sales. You're in Baton Rouge. You're not in Miami. You're not in Dallas.
No.
Collectively, what are the sales have been since you've been doing it?
Right at a billion, a little over $1 billion in sales.
$1 billion. And 11% of $1 billion, about $100 million is based off of that vehicle.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if it's calculated that. 1 year it was 11%, but not every year it has been 11%.
Okay. That's still good. Either way.
I wish it would be. I wish it would be that number. That would be fantabulous, right? Yeah. It's a huge part of that because in business, you don't have to be the best realtor. You got to be the best marketer.
Yes.
And that's the key in this whole thing. And a lot of people want to blame the market. It's not the market. It's the marketing that makes the difference. And so a lot of agents do what's called the 3 Ps. They put a sign yard, put it in the MLS and sit back and pray. But you got to do the 4th P, and that's be proactive. You got to be proactive in your approach to getting business. And you can't be a secret agent out there. And it drives me crazy, when people come in there and say, "I don't want to be on camera," or "I don't like the way I look." Hell, I don't like the way I look either. This is not a Brad Pitt face by any means. And the fact is that people just want you to provide value to them. And that's the main thing. It's how much value can you give to somebody while you walk the face of this earth?
All of this comes back to mindset. And it goes back to you picking up those books while you're working at Office Depot. I'm going to share, you know who Julio Malauer is.
Oh, yeah.
Baton Rouge Business.
Big report. Yeah.
Yes. So I met him. He and my very first podcast interview was with him. And he opened my eyes when he and I worked together at City Business in New Orleans. And I had no idea who he was. And he walked in the second day of my job. He was coming back from WWL radio. He broke every record in 100-year history of the radio business. WWL is a powerhouse across the entire country, for that matter. And he came in and gave a speech the first day he's there. I'm like, who is this guy? And I like you picked it up, and you recognized something right off the bat reading it. I heard him speak it. I'm like, what is this? And ever since then, it put me on a whole, like you, put you on a whole different trajectory. And everything you just talked about, especially the being proactive piece, it's all mindset. And the market, I love that.
It comes down to 3 things. I've analyzed this for a while, and it really comes down to 3 things. And a friend of mine, Brad Lee, I mentioned him earlier. He's a guy you follow. He runs a company in Las Vegas. There's a huge Lightspeed VT is what it's called. It's basically an online platform where you can train, doing videos and so forth and so on. But Brad's an unbelievable influencer. But he made mention at one point that it's very important that it comes down to 3 things in business, right? Number 1 is mindset, like you mentioned just now. Number 2 is skill set. And number 3 is daily habits. And that's really what helps you become successful in any business that you're in, because you have to have the right mindset. And most people, the problem, Simon Sinek, if you follow his TED Talk, an unbelievable guy, just go look up Simon on YouTube when you get a chance. But he talks about beginning with the why you're doing something. What is your why? And most people start business or start an idea, and they begin with the, how do I do this? And then when they can't figure out the how, they give it up and push it to the side because it's too much of a challenge, right? But instead, if you begin with the why are you doing this, that's a much more intimate part of the reasoning. It's an internal belief of, why is this important to me? Why should I do this? And when you figure out the why, the how will come. And that's what he talks about in this TED Talk. And Mindset, you got to believe you can do it. Skill set, anybody can learn the skill because we all have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What we do with that is completely up to us. And then the daily habits. And that's where most people fail. The death of a salesperson is white space on your calendar. It is so true. If you're not out there making contacts, if you're not out there letting people know what you do, if you're not out there making those connections and those meaningful connections, that white space on your calendar will kill you. And I work by calendar only. Everything is time blocked and everything is done every single day with a purposeful meaning behind why I'm doing it. And that's how I've been ever since I graduated high school. I write down December 24th at 8 p.m. I go into either a room or a bathroom, wherever I'm at, and I write down 10 goals that I want to attain for the next year. And I've been doing that since I graduated high school. And that's very important. You have to have goals and you have to have standards because there's a difference there. And a lot of people don't know the difference is. Like a standard is what is the minimum you will accept? Goal is what is the maximum you want to achieve? There's a difference there. And so I have what's a 1 year, a 5 year, a 10 year, and then what I call a BHAG, BHAG goal, big, hairy, audacious goal. What is my wildest dreams that I never think's possible that I can accomplish? And that's what I do. So,
man, I usually ask the question at the beginning of the podcast is what's the problem you solve in the market?
Yeah.
And your solution is just to get out there and hustle and do a great job doing it.
It is.
Serving with a purpose behind it, which is serving.
You got to serve.
That's what people miss. They don't even start there, like you said.
That's right. That's exactly right. You have to serve others. You have to serve others. You have to give value. Just like I was talking about earlier, an agent reached out to me before this podcast today, and he's with another local big brokerage, the biggest brokerage in the area, independent brokerage. And he said, I've been there for 6 months and I've got one sale underneath my belt. And it's not closing until April of this year. He says, how do I survive? And I'm like, I'll show you. I'll send you some stuff to help you. Send him a video on 40 different lead generation tips to help him grow the business to where he can fill in those daily habits. Because his mindset, I knew immediately on the call that his mindset was right. He wants to get there. It's just a matter of no one has really showed him what to do. And that's the thing is that you can get into this business and this business in real estate will chew you up and spit you out and not think twice about it. It doesn't care. Mm-hmm. And you have to run this business like a business and you run your business instead of letting your business run you. And that's the key in the whole process.
So you made this transition to, what's the name of the new business?
LPT, Listing Power Tools, LPT.
Okay. So what is the magic behind? Is it the giving piece of it? That's got to be. What is the giving?
They have, and they're the best of the model, right? So let's explain the model. Most brokerages have a certain commission base, right? Mm-hmm. So we have basically an 80-20 split, mm-hmm. basically where the agent gets 80-20, basically the brokerage is 20%, 80-20 split with a $15,000 cap. So the most you'll ever put into LPT is $15,000 if you go to that. When you hit what's called black badge status, mm-hmm. which is 35 transactions, they give you that $15,000 back in marketing dollars to reinvest in you to help you grow market share in your business that comes out of their 20%. And that's phenomenal. Nobody else does that, right? Nobody. And then they also have another model, which is for those agents who are doing 10 or less transactions a year. They have a $500 transaction model where you pay $500 flat fee. You cap at 10 transactions, which is $5,000. So the max you're paying in on that model is $5,000. And then at that point, you're at 100% commission. So you can't earn revenue share on the flat fee model, whereas on the 80-20 model you can.
Okay. All right. So we'll talk about the market for a second, and then where do you see the market going this year in your outlook for real estate?
That's a great question. So I wish I had a crystal ball, but based on what I'm seeing right now, just in since January the 3rd of this year, we're on the 18th today, right? Since January the 3rd, that's the biggest day when people jump online and look for housing. The holidays are finished. People are over Christmas and Thanksgiving. They're looking to get to a new home and a new season. All right. Now they start their look on January the 3rd. February the 15th is when the season really kicks off. So we got a lull between basically the 3rd and the next month of the 15th. There's a lull there. There's a lot of activity going on. There's a lot of movement. Some people are still buying houses, but not like you're about to see. Now, February 15th, here's the key word. This is the cycle of real estate. February 15th, it's been this way for the last 12 years. I've been tracking this. February 15th is when things start to warm up. Things start to come back into bloom. Plants start to get it. People start walking neighborhoods. Oh, Ewell's house. Ewell just lifted his house for sale. I need to tell my friend about that, right? Word starts to get around, right? March and April, people are getting money back from their income tax. So now they got money for down payments.
Gotcha.
All those houses they were looking at from January 3rd till now, they have money to buy them now. May, June, July, August, they're moving for what? School systems. That's the school system. September's normally a dead month. October's normally a dead month. November is a very strong month, has been a very strong month because a lot of people put their homes under contract in November to where they could be in by Christmas time or be in beginning the next year. And that's the cycle of real estate, and that's how it works. The future, what do I see? It's been an unbelievable since the interest rates have dropped 5.99% as of yesterday. I hadn't checked today yet. Interest rates have dropped. Phenomenal activity in the market. I think we're going to get back going toward the latter part of this year with it being an election year. I think we'll get back toward multiple offer situations. I see that coming down the pipes. I see buyers and they have two choices, right? Right now, interest rates are starting to drop down. So what you're going to do is you're going to get to multiple offer situations. So what does that mean? Supply and demand regulates everything within every economy. So as you get in multiple offer situations, that normally means you're going to pay over asking price for the house, or things are not going to be normally as negotiable as it would be with higher interest rates when you can, even though you're going to pay more than a note, you're going to get the home in a lesser amount. So it sticks in one hand, half a dozen in the other when you look at that. But I think to answer your question again directly is the market is unbelievably going through the roof. It's going to change. It's on its pivot. We see it right now, and we're about to get back into multiple offers, I believe.
I love it. All right. Somebody wants to get in, could be folks, if you were looking for somebody to champion you, in what areas do you cover?
I cover the entire state of Louisiana. I actually have people that work with our network. With when I was a previous company, same thing with LPT. We're going to be in 25 states in the next 3 months by March. Right now, we're in 20 states across the United States. Once we go nationwide, I'll be able to help anybody in all of those states. But anybody in the United States, even outside the United States, who wants a career or wants to even talk about a career in real estate, even investing, buying, selling, whatever the real estate end of it, even if it's not that, even if they need to put a swimming pool in, even if they need to put an awning on the back door, even if they need a contractor here locally, I can recommend certain providers that help them that give unbelievable service. So it's not just about the buying and selling and all that end of it. It's about anything that revolves your real estate investment. We want to be a service to the community. When you think real estate, you think Darren James, and that's what we want to be.
Your call to action, where do people find you?
They can find me at www.agent225.com. It's agent225.com. I do give out my cell phone directly. You can call me anytime on my cell phone. It's area code 225-335-7666, 225-335-7666. Or you can reach me via email. It's very simple, DarrenJamesRealtor@gmail.com, DarrenJamesRealtor@gmail.com, or you can do Darren at agent225.com as well.
Awesome. And last thing, somebody just in general who's trying to go into business or trying to advance in their career, what is your guidance? So they reach their potential, so they can see what's possible.
The first thing is you got to have hope. You got to have only positive expectations. That's what you got to believe in, right? You got to have that hope. You got to know that you can do it. You got to focus on those three things, as I mentioned earlier: mindset, skill set, and daily habits. Another thing you really need to do is make sure you have a great support system behind you that can help you get to that next step in life. Find a proven mentor who's doing the business that you want to do. And that way they can shave off years of mistakes that you would potentially have to make. A proven mentor is absolutely imperative to get to that next step in life. It can save you so much time. Get active on social media. Don't be a secret to the things. Let people know your talent and get out there and do something good in the world.
So Darren, this has been a mastermind for anybody listening to this. Can't thank you enough. You brought just a ton of value. And I thank you, man. I appreciate you being on the show.
And I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. And if I can help any of your listeners or anybody out there, please reach out to me anytime. Seriously, there's no way, it's absolutely impossible that you can be a burden to me. I'm very blessed to be able to serve you and be able to help you. So let me know.
I love it, Darren. Thank you, sir. That's a wrap with Darren James. Take a breath, get some air. What a ride. All right. Look, if you're interested in anything to deal with real estate, get in touch with Darren. He's there to serve. That's what he does. He does so extraordinarily well. And look, if you're considering going into your own business, or heck, if you're considering to become a real estate agent, get in touch with Darren. If you're considering going into your own business, you've got options. You can do what Darren did. You can step out and exit in a part-time way, or you can go all in. Check out yourfirstfranchise.com, yourfirstfranchise.com. And you know the drill by now. You know the drill. Be intentional and make today a great day.